for the gals that couldn't make it, and we will jump in. Okay, first, thanks for joining me. This was totally a random thought I had in my brain after listening to that one Chelsea Pearson call I shared about like the top 20%. And Steve and I just started like talking, and it just sort of clicked to me. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't we like brainstorm with the top of our team, basically, right? It's like, you know, we constantly brainstorm with other people, which is awesome, but it's like, obviously you guys are doing something right. So how cool would it be to just get together and share what's working for each other, right? I'm not the most creative person, so the more ideas I can get from other people, the better. I know other people are very much more creative than me. So I thought just jumping on a mastermind like this, and just, I didn't really want to like make a topic. I really just wanted to be like, let whoever wants to talk and share whatever they want to share. And like, I've got my notepad ready and just pull ideas from each other. So I'm kind of toss the floor over to whoever wants to speak. And I just love to hear anything that's working for you that you think us or our teams could benefit from. Maybe you've got a question to ask somebody else on this call that you've seen clearly something's working for them. You want to ask them how they're doing it. I just really wanted to do an open platform, and we'll just kind of roll with the conversation. How does that sound? Cool?
Good.
Okay. We'll get past the awkward first stage. Who's got something to roll with first?
I'll go.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about things that we want to work on in our business and things that are working well, right?
Yeah, really anything at all.
Okay, so the first one that I had written down was organization. I am one of the least organized people that I know, and I often find that I'm the type of person that's like, okay, it might look like a mess to you, but I get it. Like it makes sense to me. This pile or this mess makes sense, and this mess over here makes sense. But I really want to streamline it, and I've tried using different books and paper trackers. I've tried using different apps, and I feel like everything's scattered all over the place. So I just want to find something that works for me that's all in one spot, because personally I'd rather put down like a name of someone in an app who I need to contact or who I was messaging, rather than like being like, oh, I'm out at the grocery store in the parking lot and I responded and I don't have that book on me, so that needs to be really mobile for me. So just organization of my business in general, of expenses. I need to get better at organizing my expenses throughout the year. I need to get better at organizing everything. I feel like in my groups I've gotten better. Like I'll put up a kind of like a graphic like you do, Morgan, about like, okay, so June 27th is new coach training and the sneak peek is the 13th. So I've gotten better at that. So I think it's just on my end to be a better leader. I need to be more organized. And then something I'm really working on, and I know Virginia has talked about this with me before, but commenting on people's pictures and messaging them completely unrelated to Beachbody. I need to get better at doing that. Like, hey girl, where'd you get those shoes? They're so cute. I need to do that more, because I find like, okay, I'm messaging people and inviting people, but I really need to start that off on a non-business basis and not like go into it right away. Maybe in a few weeks, I'll go back to those people. But if I'm doing that every single day, that'll definitely pay off long run. Building relationships with my followers and commenting just to create those natural followers. And that'll mean that they're looking through my stuff if I message them and they haven't really seen me before. So that's something I want to work on too. But what's working well for me right now? Recognition, actually. I feel like within my team, I'm noticing that there's a little more incentive to push for certain goals or rank advancements. Now I'm consistently giving prizes every month and things like that. So recognition has really made a difference. And then shouting people out all the time, whether it's challengers or coaches, that's made a really big difference. And especially in the culture of my team. So it makes people want to join or be more present or just really give it their all. So
what types of things do you do for recognition? Like what do you recognize most?
Well, like every month, usually it'll be like Success Club. Usually in order to qualify for any sort of gift, you have to hit Success Club, but it won't always be recognition for that. Sometimes it'll be recognition for, like this month is displaying leadership. So it'll be the coach that's hit Success Club that's showing leadership and stepping out of their comfort zone. So that's what my post was for June. I know I've given prizes to the coaches in a month that all hit Emerald or whatever the case was. But I'm just trying to do something a little different because I have one coach that hits Success Club 20 plus every single month. And I think that's amazing. And I'm super proud of her, but I also need to recognize that that's not the only aspect of our business that's important. Yes, it's kind of a mandatory thing in order to get that prize, but I do think that I want to recognize people for other things in the business as well. That helps build morale too, I think, to know that, because I'm not one of those people. I don't hit Success Club 20 every single month. I go for 10 every month, right? So I'm not saying that I'm not growing my business or that I'm not as strong in that aspect, but I'm consistent. So I guess maybe, rewarding consistent coaches too. Like, hey, in this month, if you have hit Success Club the last 6 months, you get the prize or whatever the case is. So things like that.
Something I struggle with the prize thing is I try and make it non-Success Club and give them different criteria, and then I can't keep track, and none of them seem to follow. Like we did that bingo, I posted it 11 or 12 days ago now, and nobody has said anything, and I'm sure somebody actually got 5 of the things to get a prize, but nobody fesses up. So I kind of feel like Success Club is such a great marker or a rank advancement, or just do a draw to the top people. Because I've struggled with trying to be creative to recognize other people on my team, but it doesn't seem to work. And there's some team members here, so maybe you guys could speak up a little bit too of what you think works for you guys with prizes or.
I know for me, probably about a year ago, if not a bit longer, I was doing prizes for my coaches. And that didn't really keep any momentum up or anything. So for me, that's just something I've decided to do when in my heart, I'm like, wow, this person is doing really well. So I don't put any expectation on myself to have prizes every month or anything. And I think that's great because I think that you guys have coaches that are more motivated than I do. But when I see something in a store, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of Nicole or something, then I'll send something. But I don't just like to force it kind of so if someone is really inspiring me or I feel really I want to do something for them, I'll do a prize, but I just don't like putting that pressure on myself to be hey, I need to find someone who deserves a prize, and you know what I mean? So for me, it just didn't work for my team, but it's obviously working for you guys for sure.
For me, I feel recognizing a monthly team leader or whoever came a little bit differently. It wasn't I wanted to motivate my coaches to be earning this prize and whatever. I kind of waited until I had coaches who were earning Success Club and reaching different rungs on the leadership ladder and doing all these things, and then it was I wanted to give them something and be rewarding them instead of just motivating them. It was wow, I want to be doing something for these people. So I kind of waited until I had coaches already doing all those activities. And then for those of you in the Diamond group, I created that point system. So it goes off of Success Club, Leadership Ladder, being a success starter, rank advancement. And it's a little bit more work for me. It takes 20 minutes at the end of the month to look through everything and just run a report and tally up the points. But I've only been doing that for 1 month, but I enjoyed it. So, yeah.
Is that in the Diamonds group, Rebecca?
Yeah, that's where I uploaded it. I can send it to this group chat too if you
missed it. I'd like to see that. Yeah.
I'm going to speak towards that. Sorry, are you looking? Oh no, you're okay. You're done. Are you going to share it or what do you?
I'll send it to the group chat. Yeah, right now.
Yeah, I was going to while I think of it because I'm so scatterbrained. But what I did, when I was flying back from Philippines, I was reading Richard Branson's book called Like a Virgin. First of all, really good book, and it's totally about like airlines and entrepreneurship. So it's a different take on most books that like Beachbody coaches have read, which I really enjoyed. It was pretty refreshing, but he just talks so much about creating such a fun environment for your coaches, or sorry, for your employees. He just talks about like, if you don't love what you do and you're not having fun while you're doing it, there's no point to it. So I think it's so easy for us, especially, to get caught up in all of the little shit kind of stuff that takes so much time, and maybe you feel exhausted because you are giving so selflessly lots of the time, right? And so what I was thinking about while I was flying back and reading this book, I was like, God, like I have to do something that's just like plain fun. That's just something that's like, gift giving is great. And I know not all coaches live here, but the first thing that came to my mind was wine night. I was like, God, I should host a wine night for every coach that hit Success Club 5. So then I made this a thing in my team. So now I'm hosting a monthly wine night. And yeah, there's a few coaches that can't make it and they are kind of sad about it. But I just say, like, when you're in town, you and I will go for wine kind of thing. But I've made a monthly wine night for all of my coaches that hit Success Club 5. And we just had our first one and there was like 6 of us. And I just laid out a spread. I bought like 5 bottles of wine. And we talked about our why and the biggest challenge we're having in our business right now. And they loved it. It was huge. Like, everybody had such a nice time. And I just felt like connecting in person instead of just over text or just over Zoom or whatever was really powerful for them. And girls that maybe were kind of on the edge of feeling comfortable coaching, they left that and the next day messaged me and were like, I'm so on fire right now. I feel so lit up. Like, thank you for hosting that. I'm so like connected to my why, which was that was my point of introducing it to them. But I felt like that was a really cool thing. So like having an in-person meetup, if possible, as a Success Club like initiative, I just have, like, it was the first one, obviously, so we'll see how it works, but it was really big for the girls that got to come. I just spoke a million miles a minute, didn't I?
No, that was totally good. I think if I did that, I would have trouble because everyone's in different cities. That's the only thing that I'm thinking of is like,
you could do a virtual.
I have like 1 or 2 coaches, or in Saskatoon there's 1 or 2, or in Yorkton there's 1 or 2. But even like Zoom would be cool to do that, like a Zoom wine night.
I was going to say, like, do a virtual wine night and just say, like, I'm doing a virtual wine night for like everybody that hit Success Club 5 and I'm sharing 7 tips that have like helped me boost my business or something. But it's like,
and even like people who are in the same city could meet up and have like groups of people with different.
Yeah. And like I said, like, it won't work for everybody. And like, I've got a couple of coaches in Calgary and Moose Jaw and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't work 100%. But for the people that can make it and like share that along, it's pretty awesome. And then it just gives other girls like the incentive to hit that. And then I said, like, to one of the girls that lives in Moose Jaw, she's like, I'm so sad I can't make it. And I said, okay, if you make Success Club 5 this month, the next time I'm in Moose Jaw or the next time you're in Saskatoon, I'm taking you out for wine. So I just said, like, that's like because wine is love. Yeah.
I think one of the things I did that was successful was offering the one-on-ones, and it was mostly people who are a little bit more shy and who never make the Zoom calls. And, we really got to pinpoint some of their areas where they're stuck and things I had no idea about, like people who are on the verge of quitting. And I had 0 ideas because they've got like 6 coaches under them, but they're still struggling more than I knew. So that was golden to me. And it was either on the phone if they didn't live here, or I went up for coffee with the local girls, and it really was fantastic. And one of the girls I was on the phone with was 2 hours. So it just was great to connect and find out where she was struggling and help her specifically. And then I've been following up on more specific things. Like, did you talk to that one girl who had this problem, or that thing you were struggling with to post about? Like that, I think really helped a lot of my team members and my downline. I offered it to the whole downline. So I think that was a really good thing that I did. That if you haven't done that, it's great to offer. It takes up a lot of your time, but it was worth it for me.
I like that, Nicole, a lot. I've been meeting lately with like my new coach prospects. If they live in town, I've been meeting up for coffee with them. And like, yeah, it takes up like an hour of my day or whatever, but it's so worth it because then I can give them the new coach interview the night before and have them fill it out. And then we can talk about exactly like face to face. And I can really read like where they sit on everything. Like if they want to just do a discount, or if they're like what their fears are, I can address it right then and there instead of like over message. They can read it, think about it, and interpret it how they want. It's just like, here's your fear, here's my response in person.
Exactly. And just to go over like some of their invites, I was like, show me your phone and let me see what you're doing here. And that I think helped a lot of them. And Also, some of them really struggled with like Instagram and things. So I had their phone and mine at the same time, was showing them what I do. And I think sometimes that's pretty valuable compared to just group calls. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, I have changed my challenge groups into a fit group community. So instead of having daily posts and everything, it's more just posts you're doing, like just your accountability pieces. And that's been working really big. And more, I'm actually having more involvement, I guess, than normal challenge group style. And then to compensate for not having a like set out challenge group, I've been just made a package that I send to them when they sign up, to just give them the real lowdown on how it works and pretty much all the pre-start stuff. And yeah, so I just email that to them and do a little bit more one-on-one with them in like the first week of getting them started, and making sure to shout them out lots in the group so that they feel comfortable, because it'd be kind of overwhelming with, I think I have 70 people in there still. And I like that I can like keep track of everybody. Like I'm never going to lose anyone, because once you're in my challenge group, you're staying there unless you would like to leave. And that's been working pretty good for me. Once the group does start to get quiet, I offer a prize incentive, and that usually shoots everybody up through the roof and just kind of go that way. So that's been working really good for me. Consistency is not working super well for me, so that's not great. And organization I need to get better at.
I agree with that Fit Club concept. I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And I feel like it takes a lot of pressure off of me, and I feel like I can have fun with it, post my journey authentically. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'll be like, okay, what's going through my head today? Like, what can I post about? So usually it'll be like today, for example, was just a picture of me and Ruby in our workout gear. And I said, like, okay, your challenge today is motivate someone to move, whether it be your husband, your partner, your mom, your sister, a friend. Maybe you're going for a walk around, your neighborhood. Maybe you're going for a bike ride. Maybe you're taking your kids to the park. Inspire somebody to move, So yeah, Ruby was wearing her Nikes, Rebecca. Lay off. They're white. But yeah, so I just feel like that was just kind of on my mind. It felt really natural. Whereas before I'd have like templates, and I just felt like it was too, I don't know, just not as in the moment. And it felt like homework for them, and they didn't like that. But now, like you said, you have a lot more engagement, and people feel like less intimidated, like they're missing out on an assignment, and people are posting in there all the time. Like it might not be a day we're posting about like meals or anything, but people are posting their meals, or they're posting whatever the case is. Their updates about their weight loss journey. So I'm really liking it, and I'm having fun with it again, which is so key. And I know Hillary and I talked about that. Like you want to have fun doing this, because then what's the point if you're not? Like if you're stressed out and you're worried and you're not having a good time, that makes it really difficult. But if like this challenge group suits my personality and my lifestyle, and it's working for my challengers, that's a really important thing.
I think that's amazing, because I tried to do that in January. So I have a separate group of just those people who always want to be in the group but don't want those repetitive posts. And that group, just there's no energy, there's no drive. I tried posting in it like every day for a week or during the week and then 3 times a week. And that group has just died off. I'm like, I feel like all the new people are so gung-ho in my, repeat posts. And that's what Jen Wall does. She does the exact same. And I took the pressure off myself. I don't make my group different every month. I just day 1, copy paste. Day 2, copy paste. And even though for me, it's so repetitive, when I was a challenger and I was in your guys' groups, Hillary and Kirsten, like, I love those daily posts. And as a new person, I needed that. And so for me, I feel like I'll definitely always do the new group every month, because the other group hasn't really worked for me. But that's awesome if it's working for you guys.
I know a couple weeks ago, I don't know if everybody was on the call, but for the Diamonds call, I had shared that I'm doing a 60-day challenge in the last 2 or 4 months, I guess it is. And it has been amazing. I shared it, a couple of the attachments in the Diamonds group, but I don't do the complete daily messages, but I do every other week. I have a prize for them. And then I just kind of post a calendar of what they're supposed to do. And then I keep track of their points. And then at the end of it, the winning, because I have it into teams. So myself and then one of my other coaches have split the teams. And then the winning team, we're going to draw one person and they're actually getting a Fitbit. And I had all my coaches just chip in $30 and they were all game for it. And it has honestly, the first month we just gave away each person on the team a prize. And it was really good. And I called it the Biggest Loser Challenge. And then this time I'm doing the Fitbit and it has been absolutely amazing. Like there is 44 people in that challenge group. And honestly, there's like 40 people participating every day. It's so good. Like they check in every single day about their workout. And one day I'll have them listen to, they can pick 2 podcasts that I do for personal development or you guys can look in the Diamonds group, but I had posted everything and then like different workouts and like having to do 10 hours of extra cardio as a team for one day and just stuff like that. And once I revamped it, I got really into it and everybody else has been amazing. So it worked really well for me in my business for sure.
So what's the program that you're doing? Because you said it's 60 or 90 days?
I've been doing 60 days, yeah. And you know what? It's really weird because if I was brave enough, I would show it to you guys. But I felt like I was in a rut. So then I felt like my challengers and my coaches and everybody was kind of in a bit of a rut. And I felt like I was plateauing. Like I was losing 5 pounds in 2 months. And I still have like 25-ish pounds I want to lose. And yesterday I actually did a picture and I've on like day 40 of Insanity Max 30. And you should see how much my body has changed in 40 days. It is seriously crazy. So, I mean, that challenge is really good for my girls, but I'm being a little bit selfish, but it's been really, really good for me too. So it's been a nice change. Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Unreal. You should.
It's just, I found like the regular challenge groups just so repetitive, and I was the exact same way as, I can't remember who was just saying that, Nicole maybe. And, I did the exact same thing, but then I felt like I was losing it and I was just like, oh, okay, I just know what's going to be. And then I wasn't getting as involved. And so then I just felt like I was just doing it and then doing my own thing afterwards. But this has been, and if anybody wants to see it, I can certainly screenshot the calendars and just kind of show you what I was doing, but it worked really well.
Yeah, even in our chat, because not everybody in here will be in the Diamonds page. So even if you want to share it in there.
I've been doing something lately, and I think, Kirsten, this actually will speak a little bit to what you're feeling with your, like, trying to work on connecting with people. I was feeling the exact same way. I was like, okay, I'm connecting with people, but I'm just connecting about Beachbody stuff, or like with the intention, even if I try to make it seem like it's not with the intention of them joining as a challenger or coach. So what I started doing is I started doing 5 like love notes every single day that, and it's like generally the same message, but I go through, because like I document every single new friend. As soon as somebody adds me and I message them, I'll write their name down, like what day we became friends, so that I can keep track. And so I'll go through my new friends like list or document, and I'll pick 5 people that day, and I just reach out to them and I kind of look at their page to make sure that they've actually been active. And I'll just say something along the lines of like, hey, I just wanted to reach out and send some love to your inbox today. You've been showing up on my newsfeed. You look so beautiful and happy, and I just wanted to wish you a happy Friday. And that's all I'll say. Just like a little love note. That's it. And I've had like 9.5 people out of 10 have been like, I was having a shitty day. You just made my week. Thank you so much. You uplifted me. And I'm like, good. That was my intention. I'm so happy. Like, have a great day. See you later. I've just been like sending like a love note, and then those people sometimes will start another conversation and they're like, oh, I just saw this post about this, or I saw this about this. And if that happens, sweet. But my intention going in is just like legitimately like, I want to give this person love. I want to like spread good vibes to these 5 people every single day. And it's been working so well for me. I feel like my relationships have just like exploded in the last couple of weeks because I've been doing this.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That too. And
it like fills my cup too, right? Because I'm like, it's selfish. Like I feel so good giving good feels, right? And like, and that's awesome because it's doing a good thing, but I feel so good after it that it pumps me up. And then my other invites, I feel like I'm more jazzed up about those then too.
Yeah.
I've noticed, like, I don't know, I think Kirsten, you originally recommended the Earn Your Happy podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like absolutely obsessed with it, but I forget which one I was listening to. And like, I'm with you, Marie. Like, I have to start implementing this. Like, I've been very like sporadic with it, but it's like whenever I'm in a slump, I just like tell myself, just go spread love, like just go give, and like you'll automatically be out of your slump, which was what the podcast said. And like, as woo-woo as that sounds, it's like as soon as I do that, like, and at the store, it's really easy. Like, I really push myself to like spark up a conversation with an older lady or an older gentleman that's there. I'll like, you know, ask them how their day is and everything. And I'm just like instantly in a better mood, and I'll go back to the office and just like crush it. Like I 100% agree with that.
And there's nothing better than that feeling of giving, you know, even if it's just a couple kind words, because, you know, like Marie, you feel me on this one, like the universe and all that positive energy that comes back like tenfold. So it's so important to do that.
Yeah, hugely. And I honestly never used to really, it's not that I didn't believe in it. I didn't really acknowledge or like know about it. And I don't know if you guys have never read Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire by Deepak Chopra. That one will just like open your mind to what the universe has for you. And it's just like, there are no original ideas. Everything has already been thought of, but anyways, whatever. It's really like, it's kind of woo-woo-y, but it's super awesome. And if you read that, you're going to be like, wow, the universe is insane.
You said Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire?
Yeah, it's
and
a
what
really.
was the other one you said?
That one, it's by Deepak Chopra. Did I say another one?
Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire, and then there's, what's the other one? It's
the Virgin guy.
Oh, sorry. Like a Virgin, Richard Branson. And then also, I have one more for you guys. Sorry, I'll stop talking after this. But Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. If you haven't read that one yet, I've been implementing Miracle Morning into my everyday now. And I wake up, like now I'm waking up at 5:30 or 5:45 before I go teach, which has been doing way too much since I got back from Asia, but that's okay. And I wake up and I spend the first 45 minutes of my day just for me. So like I've been going for a walk every single morning. Lately, it's been really nice, and I do my like intentional like meditation or breathing while I'm walking. And then I get home and I read a page of an affirmation that I wrote. I just wrote like, I want this. In order to do this, I need to be this and do this. This is how I'm going to start my day. And then I look at my vision board for like 4 minutes, and then I maybe read PD, and then I start like messages and stuff and then work out. But I spend the first 40 or 45 minutes of my day just on me. So then I'm like super in the zone. And I've noticed like it's been such a difference lately. People in my messages, even they're like, wow, like you're so on fire these days. You're so confident in this. And I'm like, it's because I'm spending so much time on like filling my cup every single day.
That's awesome. Morgan, what was that podcast that you said that you really are enjoying?
Earn Your Happy. Yeah, I'm almost 99% sure. Kirsten told me about it. And I'm like obsessed.
Yeah, there's another, it's called, there's the Happiness Project, and there's a few. P.S. Morgan, that DJ role model, Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake mix it. So good.
Steven won't let me play it when we work out together, but when he's sleeping, I've got my headphones on and I'm jamming.
Which one? Which one is it?
It's a DJ role model, and I think it's the most recent one. I don't think there's a new one. Yeah. And it's a Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake workout mix.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Like, actually, I felt like I could run like 15K. I was so jacked up. And I was listening to my headphones, and Alex wasn't. We were running, and I'm just like, this is so good. He's like, yeah, great. Live Happy Now.
Live Happy.
That's a really good one.
Yes. And then Kirsten, have you listened to the Untame Woman's Wild Soul one too?
No.
Okay, so like since you suggested that to Morgan, the Earn Your Happy, I've been listening to that like almost daily and love it. So thank you for that. And then she interviewed a girl, Elizabeth Diabol. And then so this Elizabeth girl has this podcast called Untame the Wild Soul, and she's like super like sensual, spiritual, woo-woo, like femininity, but it's such a cool mix. So on days when I'm feeling more like I'm gonna take a bath and light a candle, I listen to her podcast, and it's super like, revitalizing.
Okay, just subscribe to it.
Can I ask about that mix? Is it on a podcast?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
This was the podcast she interviewed about like the women's spirituality, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I listened to it yesterday and I was obsessed.
Yeah, go to that girl's podcast. She's awesome.
Subscribing it right now.
Like some of it, if you listen to too many in a row, which I did yesterday because I worked on my website for like 70 hours straight, so I got a little crazy. But I listened to her podcast like 4 episodes in a row, and after that I was like, whoa, like I just feel like women are the best creatures ever. So I had to like cut it off for a minute. But yeah, it's really good. Women are the best creatures, but you know. It's
awesome. Speech podcast. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Becca.
Do you want to go?
I was just going to quickly add in, I share podcasts with my challengers and they've absolutely loved it. Like I just say like while you're getting ready in the morning or doing laundry or whatever, and they've been obsessed with it. So that's another thing I'm doing. That's all I wanted to add in.
I was just going to say, I feel like I'm totally switching gears from like all the positivity and like awesomeness, but the last 2 weeks have probably been like the hardest for my business that I've ever had. Just like had a funeral to go to, like really bad week, and then had a wedding yesterday and I was the maid of honor. So it's just like 2 weeks of like, I feel like I haven't sat down and worked on my business for 2 weeks. And I'm just at this point right now where I feel like so tired and drained, and I'm like, hey, I need to wake up tomorrow and have like a super awesome day and just like somehow be refreshed. I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I know you guys have been there, like all of you.
I think that it's really, it takes a lot of strength to admit that you're going through a tough time, because I think that our heads would be up our asses if any one of us said that we are 100% all the time. So I think that by you admitting that you're struggling, there's a lot of strength in that. And I think that if you give yourself a few days to like chill out, what you need to do to like level out and find your kind of like your like equilibrium, then you can pull the learning from this and figure out what's going to work for you. And I'm just saying that because there's times where I'm like, hey, like I have all this pressure on myself. It seems like other people's businesses are growing. Why isn't mine? And then when I take a time out and then I figure out like what I want this to look like for me and what works for me, that like I come back, my posts have a lot more depth. They're not so surfacey, and I can set myself apart. So I think that's pretty cool that you have insight to be like, hey, things are kind of shitty right now. Life happens, right? Like a funeral, that sucks. Wedding, that's fun. Stuff happens, right? So like, good for you. And like, cry those tears. Like, we all do it. You're just vulnerable enough to do it in front of us. Like, we all have those moments. Like, really. So I think that's pretty cool, Rebecca.
And I think it's also like this past month, I think for people who, you know, you're trying to grow your business, it just wasn't like a very good for anyone. You know, you talk to anyone in the business, it was a really different month than what we're used to. So kind of adapting to that, that's hard. And when you're so used to things maybe coming a little easier or organically, that's frustrating when you really feel like you have to dig so deep that you're left with so little at the end. And like Hillary said, sometimes I just needed to check out. Literally, like I never leave the house without my phone, but I'd leave my phone at home. We would go do whatever, and it would just be like, hey, I just need a break. And then I would experience the day, I'd have fun, and I'd feel like a little better. So I think it's okay to feel crappy like that, because I know I did. I totally, this last few weeks have been like that for me too.
And you know how we always hear, like probably from the very beginning, we hear like the successful coaches are the ones who like push through the slow times, you know? So like this is a test of that. And I've been through that test. And I think that maybe it'd be safe to say that many of us have been. So we, you know, I often see people in my downline, like the number can go down a bit, like 2 steps back, 1 step forward or whatever. But then really we're still here. And the people that have like kind of given up, like that sucks for them, but we're still keeping on. And then that's the difference between like us and and people who have already, like, you know, that's how we're successful. And we're on this call because we're the top 20 in this team of like almost 2,000 people, because regardless of the obstacles, we haven't given up. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you guys rock. Yeah, it's just like sometimes we have to remind ourselves to just like sit back and take care of ourselves a little bit. So I don't know. I just know that lots of you have gone through times where you like had really crappy things happen, or just like have been really busy and haven't had time to take care of yourselves. So I know I just need to take like a few days to like get myself back to that place I was before all this stuff happened. Because I like June started and I was feeling better than I had ever felt, like personally and with my business and all this stuff. And then it was just like kind of a wake-up call that, I don't know, life's not always like that, I guess. So now I just have to get back to that spot and like, I don't know, get back in my groove, I guess.
Hey, Rebecca, have you read The Gifts of Imperfection before?
Yeah, I love that book.
Do you remember the part where she talks about your, what is it called? The key ingredients? Oh my gosh. Hold on.
I like how you have it right there.
Sorry, because I have all my, this is my office, everybody. Do you see this? This is my office. Hello, kitchen table. Okay. Your ingredients for joy and meaning. Did you read about that one? You remember that part in the book?
I read that book like 2 years ago, so I don't really.
So in The Gifts of Imperfection, she's got what's called the ingredients for joy and meaning, and she encourages you to write them down. And I think that would be such a strong exercise for you to do this week, especially if you're feeling a little bit lost in what you're doing. So like, just for some example, like and I need this because I too, like same thing, before Asia, I was like I had the greatest levels of anxiety and depression that I've experienced in a long time. So I left for Asia, but if that's not possible for you right now, then do this exercise. So I wrote, like, these are some of mine. So I wrote, get 7 hours of sleep, work out every day, eat well, cook creative, healthy meals, read PD, get outside, go for a walk, drink enough water, achieve 3 work goals per day, drink wine, read for pleasure, paint, draw, create. So just some of those things. But like, I feel like if you did that exercise this week and like wrote down what your ingredients for joy and meaning would be, then you could like put aside like whatever, even if it's 10 minutes per day, just like do you for 10 minutes a day, and that'll like slowly fill your cup back up again.
Yeah, I think that's why I feel so off balance too, because for like a few weeks I had been waking up, meditating, doing prayer, like doing my workout, and like really focusing on myself for like probably 2 hours a day. And then the last 2 weeks have just been so off balance, and like I haven't had time for that. And I don't know, maybe that's just me letting other things get in the way, but it's just been a lot. So yeah, I just need to get back to that. But thank you.
But you know, I think Rebecca, that's a good thing for you to experience that, because then you can share that with other people too. Like, because, you know, I was going through a similar, you know, I went through a really low spot, and now I'm feeling really good about everything again. And so I think sometimes like there's a reason for why you're going through what you're going through, and you may never know what it is that you're going to get stronger because of it, and you'll be able to share that with other people too.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, Rebecca, I've taken literally the last week off of coaching and social media. I just disappeared for a really long time because, like you, I was going through extremely, extremely hard time. And sometimes we just need to recharge our batteries and just step away and think about what our priorities are, if this is destined to be, basically, and pray on it, and it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back. I'm not 100%, but I'm back.
I think that like incorporating balance will ensure that we don't need to take a break. You know what I'm saying? Like, if like there was a time where I was like beach body like 22 and a half hours out of every single day, and I frickin' burnt out. And like, that's not, I don't think that we need to burn ourselves out and then hit an ultimate bottom and then like recharge. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we can learn like balance, then we don't ever have to get to the point where our tank is empty, or our cup is empty, or our cup's only filled with wine. You know what I mean? Like, if we can learn like what works for us, like, it's like, I think it's an internal gauge. If you know, like, because I suffer from depression too, right? And well, I think like a lot of people do. I don't think that's really like a secret. but you know, what works for you is your internal gauge telling you. Like, for me, was I glued to my phone too much? Was I isolating at home? Was I needing to get out more? Like, I'm not saying that that's what you guys need to do, but it's just like you have an internal gauge. Like, what does your soul need in order to like have that equilibrium, have balance, and like still feel good and like live life offline? Like, if your internet cuts out, like you will not die, you know, like life will carry on, but achieving that balance. Because I hate it. Like, it sucks. Like, when your tank is empty, that freaking sucks to have that spiritual low. You know what I'm saying?
I just need someone to buy my store. Does anyone want to buy a store? I'll gladly sell it to you at this point.
You can get 2 for 1 if you want ours too.
Oh.
I don't think you should put that in like the advertisement. Like, someone buy my fucking store because I do not want it anymore. Like, that does not sound like a good business venture.
Your ad could buy my like store like a full-time nanny is what I need. Because I'm drained. I am so beyond drained. I just not good.
I'm just gonna interrupt for 1 sec. I'm trying to send those pictures and it's not allowing me to in our chat.
Yeah, I just see Becca's in there.
How about the Diamond coaches just posted on their team pages? Because I think I saw that
too. Totally.
What are we trying to post?
Just that Biggest Loser chart. Is that what we're talking about? Yeah.
I love that you touched on that, Hill, that internal gauge. Like, I am probably like the biggest person, like up until honestly, like 16 this year. Like, I was like autopilot. Like, I did not base anything I did basically on how I felt. Like, I was like robot, like wake up, do it, wake up, do it. Like, and I'm really good that way consistency wise, but like you said, I never felt like my spiritual side, like my soul was, I've never been in touch with that side before. So just this year, honestly, and now that Marie mentioned the thing about the morning too, I felt anxiety almost as soon as I woke up, because I would wake up and get on the internet. And I'm like, you know how it is. It's like, what am I going to see today? Like, you know,
who's quit?
Who do I have to call coach relations for? And then some days it's like amazing. And I'm like, you know what? Now I wake up and I do my challenge group post because I realize the girls are waiting for that. But then it's me. It's book, it's workout, it's get ready, podcast. When I get to work, I open up Facebook and I'm ready to dive in, and that's me. And I know everybody's schedule doesn't allow for that. Mine didn't up until this point. But that's been huge, because finally listening to what I needed in the morning, and it's calmed me so much.
Amen.
I think the balance thing is crucial to figure out before you have kids. So, because like there's no way I get any time to myself unless I work out. And I don't really feel anxious or overwhelmed with this business, and I am going hard, you know, and it's been for a year of going hard. So I think really listening to those words you read in personal development and really having a passion and a goal is what's helping me. I want to get to a certain income before I'm going to take a break, if we call it a break, where I'm not going to obsess about posting 3 times a day or adding 200 new followers on Instagram a day. That's what I do. Like, I am on it because I have a goal with this business, and I want the financial reward before I take, you know, a 2-week break from it. And I don't think I'd ever take a 2-week break, but I think you just have to really listen to that advice you're reading, and that's key. Because for me, it's like my business, my kids, my physio job, my husband, like my house is a disaster, but you know what? So I left it all. The dishes are like piling up. We went out, had a great afternoon, no phone. Like, it was awesome. I have balance, but my house is messy, and that used to stress me out, but now it doesn't anymore. I'm like, oh, well, I'll deal with it later. You have to kind of pick and choose what is going to eat at you.
And I think it's so cool, like when we are going, well, okay, I'll speak for myself. When I'm going through like a low, and I can like incorporate that into my post and like show vulnerability, but then like pull the learning from it, because I don't want to be like, oh my god, I'm like so deep in my depression and like that's my status quo. Like I don't think that would be inspiring, but like for me, if I can like pull on the learning and like turn it around and like have it so like hopefully you can like motivate someone or like speak to someone in some way. So like that's kind of what I do. Like I almost like take advantage of like the shitty things that are happening and like kind of turn like the weaknesses into like a learning experience. And so that's what I like to do with my posts. I know like with brands and stuff, like, okay, I'm switching topics if that's okay. I'm going on a tangent, but like, you know how like we're supposed to have a brand and everything, and like that's cool. So like mine is like being single and like having dogs, which is like sweet. But then I also think that my brand is also like my perspective on different things. So I think that for me, that's kind of what I like to do. So I like to think of like kind of the low spots is like times when I can speak to people who are going through that same thing. I don't know if that like resonates with any of you or if you guys do anything similar like that.
I know with personal development in like February and March, January, February, March, everyone would ask me, oh, I just smudged my eyebrows. Look at that. It's so bad. So my personal development, everyone would be like, what are you reading? What are you reading? And I was so like embarrassed. I didn't want to say, but I was reading the 7 love languages. Because I thought, I just sat back and I was like, okay, what's struggling the most right now? What's struggling the most? And honestly, it was the relationship between Alex and I. Reason being, his dad, you know, everything that was going on with his dad, and we had lost a connection. And my business was struggling immensely because of it, because I felt like I was not giving him enough time, and just like it was so bad that I felt like in January, February, March, although my business was doing fine, I was earning income, I felt like I wanted to quit. I felt like this is just too much. I can't handle it. But I was letting myself turn Beachbody into a reason why my relationship was struggling. And it's funny how your brain works like that, right? It's like, well, I'm not the problem. Like our communication isn't the problem. It must be like a side job of mine that's taking away too much time. And you think about it. And I'm listening to this book, and it's so dated, by the way. Like our parents probably read it. It's so dated, but it had so many good gems about communication and listening to, you know, body language and what your partner's saying. And it seems like such a silly thing for it to help your business, but that book like helped my business so much, because now I shut down my business. I actually shut it down. Whereas, you know, everyone tells you, you know, set work hours, do that. But I never did. It was like, well, if we're watching a movie, I'm probably going to message challengers, you know, but then you realize like that pisses your partner off, right? That makes them mad. So don't do that. So it's funny how you think that it's totally unrelated to your business, and it doesn't matter. Everything is so connected. So when my coaches were like, hey, what personal development are you reading right now? I'd be like, the 7 love languages, because my relationship is falling apart. But, you know, it's funny how it puts it back in perspective and things are fine again. But it's tough sometimes to separate the two and to realize like, okay, like your business is important, but there's a way to balance it and make it work so that it's not cutting into your life and making it worse, because Beachbody is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to give you freedom. It's not supposed to cause added stress.
That's so true. And I went through the same thing, like same thing. I probably should read that book maybe. But before we left for our trip, like we had so many conversations, and Brandon was just like you're not here. Like you're here with me, but you're not here. Cause like I would do the same. We'd be watching a movie, and like I'd be in between signing up 2 coaches, or somebody would order a challenge pack, and it was like the last 3 days of the month. And I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I just have to do this quick message. And then I'd be on my phone for 20 minutes. And that just left him feeling like I didn't care. Right. When obviously I do care, but that was the same kind of like, he was just like, you're here, but you're not here. Like I kind of need you when you are here. And that's so huge. I'm so glad you touched on that, because if your relationships aren't functioning properly, like it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you guys, but like I didn't really understand like when we were struggling, why we were struggling. It's like, because my love languages is acts of service. So like I'm talking like do the dishes, clean up your shoes, like that stuff pisses me off. And like Steven is so not that at all. He's very like let's have a deep conversation when you're going to bed and you're a zombie because you're so tired. And then I get mad. So like, I didn't understand until I read that book, like what was almost triggering our fights. It's like, oh, like if I just told him like, this shit bugs me, like I feel good when you do this for me. He's like, oh, well, like I can do that because I don't get laid after, right? Like I'll do those things. So when he knew that, and then when I knew like what makes him feel loved, like, oh my gosh, it was game changing, and something so simple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's something you knew all along. You read it and you're like, of course. Oh yeah, that's your love language. I knew that. Why wasn't I speaking it? And like, I would always be like, I don't know why you just like don't get me. Like, why aren't you pouring your heart out to me? Like me and Steven are apparently the same love language. I'm like, tell me how pretty I am and all the wonderful things about me. And he's just like fist bump, like cool, sweet, great.
We should swap partners.
So it's just like, but once you realize it, and like I was expecting something from him that wasn't realistic, right? Like I was mad at him for being who he was all along. Like he didn't change. So that book puts it into perspective, and it's actually really good. I found you can implement it not just in like a romantic relationship, but with other people too. There might be people you work with or whatever. You can kind of pick up on what pleases them or what makes them happy or how to communicate best with them. And maybe they're a type of person that wants tons of detail. Give them that detail. But maybe they're the type of person that wants to feel comforted and safe, and you know that you're going to take care of them on a spiritual level, on a physical level. So I think that's why building those relationships ahead of time is so important. So you know, right? You can tell by that conversation what type of language they speak and how you need to approach them. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me, how I'm doing in my business and how well I'm balancing it with my relationship. They're directly related, like 100%. So if I'm like getting up early, doing my power hour in the morning, like I got a ton of invites out and I'm feeling good, like my work is done by noon, like I feel good. In the evening, we can do whatever we want and I don't have to look at my phone. Whereas if I slept in and I didn't get my workout in, all evening is dedicated to that, right? Because I didn't organize my time well enough. But if I did, he's not up till like 5 minutes before he has to leave for work. So that means I have like 2.5, 3 hours before he even gets up to get so much work done. And that will benefit my relationship so much.
That's exactly how I do it, Kristen, because, you know, I get up when I start work at 6 or 6:30, I get up at 4. For that reason, though, so that I'm not stressed out and angry at the world because I haven't worked out, I haven't invited anyone, I haven't, you know, then it becomes like a stressful scenario. But if you know, have time to see your partner when they get home from work and like cook dinner together, it's a better environment than if you're like, okay, I have to go do my workout. Glad you're home, your turn, you know, and it's worth getting up early for.
And then in your daily tracker or in, you know, your Revitalize tracker, maybe it has a column that says, did you have sex today? I don't know, but maybe it did. It might have that in there. And a coach of mine may have told me that was a good thing to put in there. So.
I think I remember that conversation.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm like the only single one on this call, so then that's when it's like awkward.
Hey, didn't say sex with 2 people. Treat yourself.
Yeah, it didn't say monogamous with one.
Right?
Hey, that's so sexy with like my dogs that sleep with me. Like, why am I still single? I'm just like working on like not attracting addicts. Like that's my number one right now.
Oh, you need to talk to my coach Roz. She sings the same tune. She's like,
if they are
Dixie, and then that's it.
Like if someone's chemically dependent, like I am a magnet, like they will be on my doorstep.
Which is so funny with what you do for a living. Like,
well, there's a correlation.
Repel them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Marie, I think we need to hashtag that. Treat yourself.
Treat yourself. I did that in my challenge group the other day.
What are you doing tonight?
Yeah, treat yourself.
Yeah, we'll all know what that means.
Marie's getting lucky. Yeah. It's a thing. Self-love, right? All encompassing.
Oh, okay, we're coming up on an hour. So anybody else have anything they want to cover before we wrap up? I think we talked about everything under the sun, and I am like, I might go for a walk right now and just like let it all soak in.
Do it.
Any last minute words anybody wanted to get in?
Rebecca, I'll take you on another picnic next week if you like. Would that help?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay.
You're amazing. Okay, everybody goes through lows. Don't ever forget that you're amazing.
And the fact that you look so pretty still when you cry kind of
like almost makes me a little bit angry. A little bit.
Almost. I love you, but I hate you a little bit.
I'm like,
super ugly cry. Like I have the worst ugly cry. My face like bunches up and I can't unbunch it. So
everybody does. Everybody does. I watched my girlfriend's wedding video last week that I was part of, and I re-experienced the whole wedding, and like her dad passed away and stuff, so it was so emotional, and I actually like I bawled. You know when you like bawl, like really, really bad bawl, like you're like broken up or something? I did that, and Brandon was cooking eggs, and he was like, how good was that video? Like, are you okay? And I couldn't stop. I was like, I'm so sad. Just sad and happy at the same time. So don't you feel bad about ugly crying.
I think it's interesting, like you said. I mean, I think, Becca, we're kind of similar. Like, I don't feel a lot of emotion, and if I do, it's like sort of behind the scenes. Like you said, Marie, like to be so sad and so happy. I'm like, and like Hillary said, learning how to get in touch with that inner self and like let yourself feel everything. Like I think I'm totally guilty of bottling that up too, and I don't think it's a bad thing to let yourself feel that.
It's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it all.
Feel it all and treat yourself.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the call. That was awesome. We've obviously got our chat going, so anything you want to add in or share, we've got that going. But just thank you for doing this with me and for everybody. I took a ton from it. Awesome. So that's it. I got it recorded. I'll share it. And I hope everybody has such a good night. We'll talk to you soon. See you later, guys.
You guys, take care.